Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Albion Obsessed. Not your usual host today. I am filling in for Tom, just as it goes. So we'll talk about yesterday's game versus Norwich, which I thought was a good performance, but didn't quite get the result. But first, I will introduce our guest today. So starting off with Chloe. Welcome. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. How are you?
Yes, very well. Thank you. Very well. And Kurtis, I know you were at the game yesterday. Was that a good experience?
It was, yeah, my second time there, and just as good. Would have been nicer to get a win, obviously, but it was good.
And Aaron, unfortunately, you weren't at the game. Unfortunately, you might not be as passionate today, but people, if you didn't know, unfortunately, Aaron has had the COVID catch up to him. But how are you feeling, Aaron? How did you feel about the game yesterday?
Yeah, disappointing really. But yes, I am riddled with COVID, and it's not enjoyable. So I'm going to be very subdued compared to my normal self.
And that's understandable, of course. If you're in the camp that has had COVID, you'll understand the energy that Aaron's going through at the moment. And to add another disappointing Brighton result is probably not what Aaron needed today or yesterday. Well, I think we should just kick off straight away, just talking about the game itself before I ask some questions that I've prepared you all with. So, Chloe, what did you think went wrong? How do you think we couldn't score, and why didn't we get the result yesterday?
Um, we just weren't clinical enough, really, were we? There was a lot of sort of wayward shots from outside the box. It was like anytime anyone got anyone near the box, the crowd just said shoot, and far too often they did, and it just went over or sideways, and I feel like we tried to attack a lot in the same ways, and it didn't necessarily pay off. A lot of crosses into the box, and no one was there. Um, I think he did make a couple of good saves, Crew. I'll give him that. There was I think two saves he made when it's like, oh, we don't need that right now. We don't need to come across someone making good saves because we really need to just get that goal. And I think when you're not scoring, you sort of need to just get a goal, and then it sort of lifts that pressure, because I do think there is a lot of pressure now to score, which probably is also some of the reason why Maupay missed that penalty. I think there was a lot of pressure on him for that, and unfortunately he's not the kind of player that necessarily does well under pressure, I don't think. So yeah, we just didn't put the ball in the back of the net, so that's the most important thing, and it's the thing that we couldn't do.
Yeah, and I think, as you rightly state, the pressure is exacerbated at home, which is why I think that we look an awful lot worse at home at the moment than we do away. I mean, I think our most recent goal away was Newcastle, dunk header, if I'm not mistaken. And our recent one at home, I think, was in January, maybe against Chelsea. I think probably was the last one. Well, Kurtis, coming to you. Obviously, normally you take a different approach watching on telly, hearing what the commentators say. You were at the game yesterday. I really hope it was a good experience again. I didn't feel like it was too hostile, the crowd. I thought there was a lot of backing the boys yesterday until the final whistle. What was your thoughts on the game being there?
I thought it was actually a really good game for the most part. We looked, fresh. I thought that there were large chunks of the game where we were dominating in areas and things like that. But again, you can have as much domination as you want. You can have as much possession as you want, but it's what you do with all of that. I think we had got like 28 shots or something silly like that, and we only got like, I can't remember how many on target, but it was a ridiculous number. But unfortunately, it's just sort of more of the same, isn't it? And I sort of agree with what Chloe was saying. Like when there isn't goals, it's that the pressure is really on. But overall, being there, it was a good experience and everything, as it always seems to be. And what was quite nice was when Maupay was subbed off, he got like a round of applause and singing at him and stuff, because he looked so dejected and so upset and stuff. And yeah, it's it's tough. I can imagine it's tough when that's what you're supposed to do and you just can't get them in. So, yeah.
Yeah, and as I said before, I think a lot of fans went there with the mentality yesterday of really backing the boys. It was probably our best chance at 3 points for the rest of the season. It really felt around me like it wasn't as hostile as it usually been. I mean, the atmosphere still wasn't there, but it wasn't as hostile as it usually is around me. In the North Stand, it's normally quite critical. There's normally a few arguments in between fans and stuff when we're not doing well, but there was none of that. It was just getting behind the boys. It was really lovely to see Maupay get that appreciation as he was going off the pitch. I don't think, a missed penalty is a big chance, but I don't think it's a make or break for anyone. I think penalties do have a 70% scored rate or something, so there is going to be that 30% at some point. But we'll move to you, the main man now, Aaron. We know your thoughts on it. You've been popping off in the WhatsApp, as it were. You were watching from the telly yesterday. How did it look there? Did we look any better on telly?
I mean, we looked all right, but it doesn't really matter if we don't score. You can play Barcelona under Pep-esque sort of football. Don't score, you don't win. Never, even when we had all 31 shots we had yesterday, 31 shots and 4 on target. And Krul made, like Cody said, maybe 1 or 2. The header from Velton was a superb save. Other than that, he had very little to do. And this is the issue again. It's just the same problem we have year after year after year. You don't score, you don't win games. You don't win games, you go down. I'm not saying we're going to go down. We had a fantastic start to the season. We're lucky we had a fantastic start to the season. But our home form is the 4th worst in the Premier League. It's home is where the heart is. You build performances at the AMEX. That's where you get the most goals, the most wins. 10 goals we've got this year. It's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. It's gone too stale. And I said this numerous times. It's just gone stale. It's all well and good playing nice football. What matters is that scoreline at the end of the 90 minutes. 0-0 against a team we've conceded. Got a goal in was a -45, and we've scored no goals against him in 100 odd minutes or 180 or 60 minutes, where it is. It's just not good enough. That to me is really not good enough. Like, we were lucky to get anything at Carrow Road. They battered us, and we battered them yesterday. But they could have quite easily gone and won it. Like, without a doubt, they could have quite easily gone and won it. They had a couple of chances, nothing like major, but it'd be typical Brighton if we did lose yesterday. Like, it wouldn't have surprised me. And I don't think we won't. I can't see us picking up many other points this year, personally. Because we can't score. we just can't score. But that's my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, picking up on what you just said there about the run-in, I'm going to go off the top of my head. I think it's Southampton, then it's Arsenal, Tottenham, City. I think maybe there's Wolves in there as well, and West Ham, Man United. I think that's the rest of our games, and none of those, as you say, Aaron.
We've got Arsenal, City, Tottenham, then Southampton, Wolves, West Ham, United, etc. But none of them you could sit and go, we can. Especially the next 3 games is going to be a difficult sort of, going up to the Etihad is a horrible place to go to at the best of times. Be like a free hit, I guess. In the Emirates, we obviously have quite a good record, reasonably good record at the Emirates. We seem to play quite well at the Emirates, to be fair. But Arsenal come into a good run of form. Tottenham, you just don't know what you're going to get. And then we got the teams such, Southampton, Leeds, Wolves, where we could pick up something. I just don't really see it personally. I'm not really this sort of negative, but the last 2 games it's been, I'm just getting a bit not fed up, but just a bit. What's the point? Like, we just play wonderful football and don't score. It's not like, you can't even blame Neil for it. You can't blame anyone for it. That's the thing. You can't point the fingers. You've got to now look somewhere deeper. What are we doing Monday to Friday? What are we haven't finished? Are we you've got a fantastic right back as our striker coach for starters. You want an actual attacker to show how to score, right? Am I wrong? But
no, you're absolutely right. Yeah,
this is the thing: is I don't get why people are saying, "Oh yeah, but no, we playing the performance is better." It was, don't get me wrong, but again, we didn't win. And granted, yeah, we didn't lose. We finally stopped the rot of losing. But when you pinpoint games in the season, you pinpoint the likes of Norwich, the likes of Brentford, Burnley, games you pick up points from. Yeah, we picked up 6 from Brentford. We picked up 2 from Norwich, which, to be fair, was lucky just to, could have quite easily been 1 if they beat us at Carrow Road. It's just, it just is what it is, to be honest. I think we're got to the point now. I don't think we're going to go down, so I don't think the players particularly care at the precise moment. They just want to just get the season done with and we'll go again next year. But it's just disappointing from where we were. February, we got an outside chance to push for Europe, and now we're looking like we have no idea what's going on. Like we just look. Confidence is such a massive thing in football, and the start of the season we had it. We saw we had it. We were getting lucky chances. Scoring like God knows how many goals it was in the 90th minute, and picking up wins, picking up points, and it seems like all that luck has sort of run out. The confidence is gone. I don't know if I just don't know. I don't think Maupay should have taken a penalty anyway on yesterday, just because he's so short confidence. It's not fair on him. It wasn't fair on him, and it wasn't a great penalty. Obviously, it's well over. But give it to someone who's actually in the form, like McAllister or Trossard, because Trossard was fantastic in the week for Bell. He's flying with confidence. Give it to him. McAllister made his competitive debut for Argentina. He'd be buzzing. Give it to him. Neil obviously thought, best way of getting a goal from the penalty spot. Get that goal, get your confidence back. But it just wasn't to be.
I think the problem with that as well is if you are risky and try and get that confidence from the penalty spot, if you miss it, I think it goes down even worse. I can only imagine what he's feeling right now, and I don't, like I say, penalties are a lottery, and you cannot blame anyone for them, and I'm not going to sit there and blame. I turned around and I didn't watch the penalty, so I didn't see how far it was over or anything like that. But as I say, I don't think that you can blame anyone for a penalty. What I'll do is I'll move to I'll just go in random order. So I'll move to Kurtis. I'm going to come in with a hard hitting question on the back of what Aaron has just said. What are we doing Monday to Friday? What's going on? The hard hitting question is simply, how long does Potter have? We've spoken about it before. Football is a results-based business. How long does Potter have? How long does he keep this credibility of being this incredible amazement of a manager that's come out of the blue? How long does he become? I think he's probably regarded as one of the better English managers at the moment. So yeah, how long does he keep that before with these bad results?
I don't have the answers to that. I mean, I think the summer is going to be a really important one for him. See how we do in the window and things like that. I think that's going to be like a defining aspect for us going forward. I mean, I was talking to Joe about this yesterday. I was saying, like, when do we have to ask questions, like realistically, because I'm most certainly not Potter out. I just want to make that categorically clear, right? But like I said, I feel like the window, the summer and everything, that's going to be important, and how he does there and how the club support him in that, I think, will be imperative. So,
and Chloe, before I bring the same question to you, genuinely, I'm not Potter out, and I don't think I could be, at least not for another half of next season. But I am starting to question in my own head: is he as good as we crack him out to be, or is he just a bit of a like he does very well in the interviews to make it seem like he knows what he might be doing quite a lot. But now I am starting to question whether or not some of these decisions that he's making and some of the ways that we're not scoring and whatnot, does he actually know? Well, I'll bring the same question to you anyway, Chloe. What do you think? How long has he got before we can start asking these questions?
Well, I think, we've got him till the end of the season now. Like, there's not really much point, I don't think, in changing a manager at this stage. So I think this summer is going to be really important for us. I'm almost sort of looking forward to the summer already, because this season just feels like a bit of a write-off now. I do think goal scoring seems to be a problem which sort of transcends managers. Like, we've struggled with goals for a while. Like, and I'm not too sure why that is. I don't necessarily think it's just on one player. We don't have enough strikers. What have we got? We got Welbeck and Maupay basically now, and Trossard sort of well, he's a forward, he's not a striker, but so that's definitely an area we're light on, and I do think Maupay needs another striker alongside him, and I think Welbeck can play well. I think when Welbeck plays better, Maupay plays better. I think when they're both on form together, they can look quite threatening, but I just don't know what the goal scoring problem is. I think we don't get enough goals from around the rest of the field. I mean, wingbacks for other clubs, they do get the odd goal. I'm not talking, I'm not expecting them to get 10 goals a season, but if you've got them chipping in 2 or 3 each, you've got some of the midfielders getting a couple each, just a few here and there, I think would probably ease the pressure on Maupay. So then he'd probably be finishing some of those chances as well and probably getting more goals. So I don't really know what the answer is, but I do think, I don't know if it's Potter. I am having my doubts, I can't lie. One thing that I really hate to say this, but seeing Vieira at Palace and how well he's doing in his first season there, and with Potter, it's like, oh, it's a project, and I get that. But when are we actually going to start seeing some progress? Because I thought this season we were, but it seems like we've just taken another 10 steps backwards all of a sudden. So I don't know what the answer is. Obviously, I think this summer is important for us.
Well, here's one thing as well that was a big topic throughout the week on Brighton Twitter. A couple of training videos came out where no one was smiling, and I think everyone made a big deal of that. I don't think, if I go into work and I'm sat there on my computer and I'm typing away, and someone comes in and they're like, "You're not smiling, mate. What are you doing? You don't like the job." I think I would be quite annoyed at that, because actually I'm focused. I'm getting down. I'm working hard. But maybe there is a question to be raised about whether or not Potter has lost the dressing room. I know Joe obviously posted a lot of pictures of players smiling, ironically, from the same training video, which is really great to see. I don't think that there's some deep-rooted issue, but I wonder if maybe there's a part of the dressing room there that's just turning away a little bit from Potter. Aaron, I'm going to come to you first on that one, because we haven't heard from you in a little while, so I'll bring you up. I hope you don't mind.
No worries. No, I don't. Lost the dressing room's the right sort of wording, to be fair. I think people are starting to doubt maybe some of his decisions, I guess you could say, maybe. So, sort of, it's so difficult to explain. I don't think he's lost the dressing room, but I feel like there's something not quite right, and I don't know what it is. I can't pinpoint the reason why people don't look like they're enjoying their football. Players not enjoying the training sessions. If you enjoy the training session, then obviously you take that into the game, you enjoy playing. If you win, you enjoy playing. If you don't, it's hard. It's hard to. Natural. You know, if you're having a shit week or crap couple of months at work, you know, you're not going to be happy. Your performances aren't going to be great. It's just a natural thing in anyone's job, anyone around the world. And being in the spotlight of the professional footballers are, it gets picked up on more. I'm having my doubts about Potter. I said this after the Burnley game, because you can't get outplayed by Burnley like that. Like, you can't. There's something. You just can't. It's Burnley, for fuck's sake. You know, and no disrespect to Burnley. You don't expect them to come to the AMEX and play us off the park. And even against Liverpool, it was one of those. Oh, we've done okay. It's like we only lost with it 2-0. Like, yeah, but we didn't play well. It's like, oh yeah, but it was only 2. I was like, yeah, true, it was only 2, but it could have quite easily been 3 or 4 before the break. And again, Tottenham, masters of our own downfall again. I thought we actually looked okay against Tottenham, to be honest. I thought we were at the running, we looked all right. And then obviously the international break and yesterday. And in those games, I don't really remember a golden opportunity to actually score. No, I don't remember. Yesterday was the first time I thought, oh yeah, the penalty is a great opportunity to score. And I just don't know what. I think it's annoying because I can't slay something that I don't know. Like, I think it's wrong with me if I go, yeah, Potter's definitely the issue. The fans are turning on him. The players are turning their backs on him. They don't care. They don't like his sessions. I generally don't know, but something's not right, and I don't know what it is. And for me personally, like I said, I have doubts of Potter. I'm getting annoyed at his press conferences now after the game because it's always the same stuff. It's always the same quotes over and over and over again. It's like, yeah, we played well. It's a lot better performance. Yeah, it was. We didn't win. It's like, goal again. I said this like 7 times already today. Goals win games. I think Johan Cruyff said a quote, which is results without quality are boring, but quality without results is pointless. And if you're not winning, not winning games but playing well, it doesn't matter. It's pointless. So that's my opinion on it all. So I'm probably going to head off shortly because I'm not feeling great.
No worries, mate. No worries. Following on, obviously, from what Aaron's saying there about goals win games, Johan Cruyff quote. I think, at least for me, a lot of the issues that I have with my my willingness to create atmosphere does come from goals. You've got to admit that the Amex is louder after we've scored. It is for any team in the country. Do we think that simply just if we started next season with a 4-0 win, does that improve the atmosphere at the Amex for the rest of the season? Because we never really get a 4-0 win. We never really get a big win like that. It's always sort of a 1-0, 2-1, 2-0. We don't really branch out much further than that in the Premier League. Do you think that that's the solution? We just need to go and try and absolutely batter a team the same way Burnley did to us?
I mean, yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, you start picking up points and stuff, and that will bring back some fire in people, in my opinion, and it's going to make people believe again and stuff like that. Listen, I try to be a very positive person when it comes to the football. I'm always in the group chat like, yeah, we've got to be positive, we've got to do this and stuff. And really, inside, I'm dying. All right, I want to make you aware of that, because it's hard. It's so difficult, but we have to try, because if we don't, we'll just jump off a cliff most likely. So, but we've just got to, we've got to push, and then hopefully the results will come. So, because then that will just, as I say, reignite the fire and bring back the passion, hopefully. So.
Yeah, I mean, one thing as well that is common with pretty much all clubs, I'd say maybe except for Man City and Liverpool, is that they go through tough periods throughout a season. That's something that you can't avoid in football. In my opinion, I don't think there's any way you can avoid something like that. Even in, Arsenal's unbeatable. I'm sure they went on a span of a few draws, and they were thinking, oh, maybe we're going to start losing soon. But so be it. You go on a bad run every now and then. What can Brighton, Potter, the players, what can they do to get fans back on side that's not necessarily on the pitch? I'll come to you first, Chloe, on that one.
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I think off the pitch, from what I've seen, the players, they're quite good. There's always loads of people writing for autographs and stuff, and most of them, quite engaged with the fans. And I remember after I think it was after the Burnley game, I got a picture with Moda, and that made me really happy. And I'm like, yeah, you're one of my favourite players now because you stopped for a picture. And I think that definitely makes people want to support them more when they see things like that. But I don't know how off the pitch they can. I don't know. I don't really know what fans want a lot of the time, because I feel like if they, come on social media and apologize for it, they'll get slated. But at the same time, if they don't say anything, they might get slated. It's very tricky, because I think a lot of our players do have, a decent relationship with the fans. I saw Sanchez at the end of the game yesterday going down to the, I think it was the West, and signing some things and getting some pictures. And I love to see that sort of thing. And I think that does make you want to support them, because you can see that they seem to be nice people and you want them to do well. But I don't know how they can get. I was going to say put the ball in the back of the net, but then you said off the pitch, so I don't really know.
That would
I think
help,
it's difficult.
obviously.
Yeah.
That would help.
I think one thing that's got me thinking recently is, I'm not sure if I'm making this up. I think I'm not. I think Trossard came out in an interview and said, if the right move was there, then I'd go. If the money was there and whatnot.
Yeah, I did read that somewhere. Yeah.
And I think Bissouma's making that difficult as well. How much of this, in the past, we never really had a problem with stuff like this. If people were going to leave, it's normally done under wraps. But how much of this can be put down to the fact that now we're in the Premier League, now we've got big names, they're coming out and they're saying this publicly, maybe to get a few more clicks or to get a few more clubs interested in them, put themselves in the shop window a bit more. I mean, Aaron, if you're able to talk, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, because I think that you're quite switched on with transfers and stuff, and as a football player yourself, I know that you're probably thinking from a different mindset. So Aaron, if you're free to talk, I'd love to hear your opinion on that.
I think you hit the nail on the head at one point. Is they're doing these interviews to basically say, I'm willing to listen to offers, and teams will pick up and go, oh, okay, he's willing to move on. I think it doesn't help, but at the end of the day, it's only natural, really. I think as footballers, they want to progress, and does Trossard see us as a stepping stone? Maybe, but has his performances warranted a move to a bigger club? Probably not. And I think that's where the issue is he going to do a sideways move? Is he going to go abroad? There was talks of Barcelona in the summer. Will that happen? Last summer. Will that happen again? I very much doubt it. But transfer rumours at this time of the year, especially towards the end of the season, it's all hearsay. With the talks of obviously him wanting to move on, the rumours that Bissouma wants to move on, the rumours that Sanchez put a transfer request in is one I saw yesterday. I saw that on Twitter and I found that very interesting. Apparently off to Newcastle was £20 million. I nearly passed out with laughter, because why do Newcastle want to be so bad? It's an absolute joke. And obviously he won't go there because he has ambitions to actually, if he leaves, he'll go to one of the big three in Spain. He won't stay in England. It doesn't help, because then you get the lads chatting in the change rooms and they don't know who to trust. It's just it can get quite messy. Like, luckily at my level, we don't really have many transfers. We're lucky in that sense. We have to worry about, people bitching behind their backs and slating other people. It just doesn't happen at Forest Row. But yeah, it doesn't help the situation. But picking up on the question you asked Chloe earlier with the off the field stuff, there isn't anything they can do off the field. You can be absolute arseholes off the field all you want, but if you're picking up wins and points, I don't really care, in my opinion. And that might be me being a bit horrible, but I'd rather pick up, goals or score goals and pick up points than all our players being happy and all that sort of stuff towards. Obviously, don't get me wrong, I've been at that age when I've been getting autographs from players when I was a kid and stuff, like meeting your heroes. Like, I loved it, don't get me wrong. And then you got the cynical side of me. I was like, yeah, but back then we were winning and scoring goals. It's just, yeah.
It's the thing is, we come on the podcast, it feels like every week we talk about the same topics and we get the same answers. And I think, it's really, really tough going through a period like this. I mean, and we've spoken about before how much it affects, people's mental health. We talk in chat, after we lose a game, all of us feel very dejected. I think I can see in Aaron at the moment that he's very dejected with the football club as well. I'm trying to keep my head screwed on a little bit today as trying to step up to the host, but I completely see it.
Toby, okay, I would like to sort of deflect some of these things back on you, because I don't feel like you've answered these yourself. So what do you think is the answer going forward? Like, what do we need to do you think?
Well, first things first, talking about the off the pitch stuff, I really think we need to try and get a wrap on this. Players saying, "Oh yeah, I'm open to moves, like come and sign me," sort of thing. I think we need to try and, you could do those things, but do them privately. The more you make it public, the more I don't like you. At the end of the day, there's sometimes I like Trossard scores, and I obviously like the fact that Brighton scored, and I am asked, but it's not the same as when Dunk scores. When Dunk scores, I'm like, yes, that's my boy. That's him. I have an emotional connection to Dunk. I have an emotional connection to a lot of the players. March, that Sanchez even, I think, he showed that he cared, at Palace when he was like giving it some. I think the way that the club and the way that football in general is going is that we're losing that emotional connection, especially the higher up you get, and just getting people that are there for their paycheck, and that's it. And it feels like I'm just not getting the same connection to football that I used to. I feel very disillusioned with it. I think the way forward is to it's the modernization of football. I think the way forward is to try and stop as much of this modernization as possible. Try and stop the money. I don't think this is just a Brighton issue. I think this is a worldwide issue, to be honest. I don't like the fact that fans aren't going because there's a game at 8 p.m. on Boxing Day. I didn't go to that because
which is ridiculous. So ridiculous that happened.
I mean, that hasn't helped. I think it just shows more true colours of just money being the main motivation behind all of the players and all of the club's goals. But at the same time, you want to see your club do well. I see the debate on Twitter all the time. Let's go back down to the Championship. That was more fun. And I said yesterday, I enjoyed the Championship so much more because you get a Saturday every other week, Saturday 3 p.m, or it was a Tuesday 7:45, and that never changed. Me and my granddad would have that routine. We'd go to the game, we'd share that emotional bond with the players. It would just be, a good time. Now you're looking at the fixtures, you're like, oh, this one's Wednesday at 8 o'clock, this one's Sunday at 4:30, this one's Sunday at 12:30, and it's like you're constantly juggling your plans around the football club. And it's at what point does the football club's success outweigh your emotional connection and enjoyment to it? And I really do feel disillusioned with it at the moment. And unfortunately, I don't think there is really any answer to it other than bring up more homegrown talents that care about the football club. Because Dunkey is literally the pillar of light that I get from watching this football club at the moment. And March, I'd say as well.
And Dunkey was fantastic yesterday. Really, really good. Looked like he was back on form.
Yeah, I think there was one tackle where he slid and the guy Pukki got past him, but I think other than that, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I'm sorry to bring a real big downer to it, but I just think it's the modernisation of football that I'm sort of losing my love with it. And do you know what? I'm excited to go and watch more non-league next season, maybe recapture some of that love. In terms of what Brighton can do, show real commitment in the window. Bring in a striker. I know we've got Undav coming in, Mitoma potentially coming back, Kozlovsky, but show real commitment and go and get one more, just a proven striker. I'm not talking get Danny Ings, but someone like Danny Ings, someone that can score. I don't think we'd want to pay him that much, but just show some commitment and don't tell the fans to have a history lesson, as Graham Potter said during this season. I think that's just degrading to Brighton fans that go there every week, that expect a certain level of commitment from the players that we just don't see every week. I'd say, don't go and say, oh, we can't just sign a big money striker. We'll just train the ones we've got and then them not score all season, because that's clearly not working. And I do feel like the club sort of look down on the fans. I think honestly, if they had the right TV money to play at Wednesday 4 a.m. so that it's suitable for a Australian TV, that's just an example, then I think they would have no issue having the ground completely empty if they got the money for it. Honestly, I feel like they just really do not care. And at the end of the day, I do feel like a customer and not a fan this season. And I think that's part of the reason why the atmosphere is so bad. The atmosphere is so bad, which makes the performances worse at home. I'm sorry, I'm rambling on a bit about things that are probably much deeper than what 0-0 against Norwich actually is. But that's my personal opinion on the way the football club's going. I don't know, how do you feel, Chloe?
Yeah, I definitely do see what you're saying. It's just seems to be a big thing in football. And when you do look at a lot of the teams, it's like, how are we ever supposed to compete with them? Because they just spend and spend and spend. It's like, if we spend big money on a striker, it has to work out. Otherwise, we could be like put out quite a bit. If they spend big money on a striker, I mean, look at Grealish. He hasn't done that much this season. He's added a bit of depth. But other than that, he's not set the world alight. And they paid 100 million for him. It's like, we spend 30 million on a player and it doesn't work, we're screwed. It is complicated. And I don't like it. I don't like and it's like, fair play is just a joke, really. There isn't any sort of fair play. Let's be honest. It's the richest are the best, and I don't know. You do see it at Brighton as well. The sort of just the petty things, no bag bigger than A4, and you're not allowed bottle lids, and it's like these little things that it's just, really, it's just so you spend more money there. You can't bring in a drink, so you end up buying one in there, and you can't bring in any food, so you end up buying stuff. It's like with evening games, my dad used to sometimes come straight from work and we'd have a flask full of something that he could eat so he could actually get dinner. And it's like, now we have to get dinner at the ground, and it's pretty limited options. And yeah, it does feel like they don't really care about you sometimes. I'm not sure if they'd accept an empty stadium, because then they can sell you stuff. That is the only thing. They probably do get a bit of money from like catering and merchandise sales, and but I don't know. It does feel like the money does rule football now, really. That is what. And Tony Bloom is a fan, no doubt about it. He's a great owner, but he's a businessman as well. So yeah, we are a business, really.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say that I wouldn't trade Tony Bloom for anyone in the world. You can turn down the Newcastle owners, you can turn down the City owners. I wouldn't trade Tony Bloom for any of them. Being led by a fan is a unique experience where there is a certain emotional connection where he's only going to want the best for that, not necessarily profit, but obviously profit as well. I think we've just announced losses, but I don't know if that's including the Ben White transfer or something like that, and the Dan Burn transfer. But he it's a unique experience, one that I wouldn't trade for anyone, as I say. But is that the point where we can't improve unless we do have Newcastle's type of owners? Because as you say, I think money does rule. I think the other point towards what you were saying about being at the ground is you can't give your ticket to a Brighton fan mate anymore. You've got to sell it, or they've got to spend a £7 monthly fee, then a £25 access fee, and then the 20 quid or whatever it is for the ticket. It's a pain in the arse, to be honest, to get a ticket. When all I want to do, if I can't make the game, which I haven't been able to make the last two before this, Liverpool and Tottenham, all I want to do is give that to one of my Brighton fan mates that I know will be singing just as loud as I do when I'm there. And then that improves the atmosphere as well. It's really, really, really hard to be a Brighton fan at the moment because you feel what's right is that Tony Bloom's in charge and that we love the players, that we don't criticise them all the time and we don't get on their backs. But they make it so easy to I don't want to say dislike them, but they make it so easy. Like Trossard has made it so easy for me to just not care about him. Like if we can get 25 million from in the window, I'd take it. I'd just be like, yeah, just get someone in that cares.
By the way, what's the source for that Trossard thing? Do you know where that came from?
It was in the Argus, wasn't it? I thought it was in the Argus. I don't know if they got it from another source, but I did see it in the Argus.
It's just because I've not read it anywhere else. I just wasn't sure if it was actually a real thing or not.
Yeah. Or even just to, if it wasn't real, just come out and squash that and just put on Twitter, I love Brighton. I don't want to leave right now. Or if it is real, just come out and say, I'm going to try my hardest for Brighton. I really like the club. I really like the city. I'm going to try my hardest while I'm here. But if you guys have given me the platform to show what I can do to move on to bigger things, thank you so much. And even then, I'd be like, yeah, that's what they can do off the pitch to make me believe in them again. But yeah, it's really hard to I'm very dejected at the moment. A couple of bad results can do this to you. But I'm sure if we won the next 8 games, I'd be like, party poppers out, got some kazoos in my mouth, like swinging around.
Mate, if we beat Arsenal, that would be mental. That'd be mad.
Unfortunately, we'll come on to the predictions, but unfortunately, I think Arsenal, Tottenham, both in fairly good form at the moment. And then moving on, you've got United, who are still trying to fight for top 4, but probably not going to get it. Southampton, I think, are in a pretty good form. Wolves, pretty good form. West Ham, they're up there this season, so it's a tough remaining few fixtures. So I want to try and move away now from all of this depressing stuff that we're talking about, the modernisation of football. I really feel like we've gone off on a tangent that perhaps isn't the easiest of things to listen to, but things that I do believe need to be said. I'd love it if someone from the club could hear what we had to say about it and know exactly how we feel and why we feel that way towards the club. Maybe they can improve the atmosphere by quashing these things. But let's move on now, looking to the future, looking for more positive things. Let's talk about Arsenal, shall we? I think that's the next game. Let's get your prediction first then, Kurtis.
1-1. I believe I again, positivity is key. I just think we usually play quite well against Arsenal. 1-1. Yeah, I'm feeling somewhat confident. So yeah.
And Chloe?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. I think Maupay's performance against Norwich reminded me a lot of his against Leeds, and I believe the next game after that was West Ham, where he scored an absolute worldie. So another London club, another away game. Got Maupay's going to score a worldie. You heard it here first.
And I would absolutely love to see that. Just a really clean volley into the top corner or something would be lovely. Unfortunately, I'm not. I said positivity, looking to the future.
Here comes the pessimist.
Listen, Arsenal are on a really good run of form. I really like the way they're playing at the moment. I'm really happy for Ben White. Obviously, coming from our academy, he's never had a bad word to say about us in interviews and whatnot. He's another player, again, that I have that emotional connection to through football. One that I really hope to see do well throughout his career. I really hope he gets into the England squad and smashes it again. But yeah, I think Arsenal, really good run of form. I think they're going to get back into the top 4 for the first time in a while. I do believe that Arsenal are going to beat us, but hopefully we can put up a spirited performance, maybe even score a goal. So I'm going to go with 2-1 and just say that Arsenal get a really lucky VAR penalty in the dying moments of the game, and we can be proud of our performance for the rest of it. I'm going to move on to something that Joe has asked me to say now. I haven't actually had time to read it because he has just put it to me now, so I haven't read it yet, but I'll read it out word for word as he's asked me to. So this is coming from Joe himself. I've not said this in a while because I've always been afraid of offending someone or saying something the wrong way, which will then come back to bite me on the arse. But it's something that needs to, yet again, be addressed. It may seem a little hypocritical because I'm using the platforms that I'm moaning about all the time. On social media this week, leading up to the game, all I've seen is people doubt the player's commitment, doubt the player's happiness, just from 30 seconds of footage, or a few pictures of which apparently they're not smiling. But I found at least 10 images of players smiling over the last few months. The club then put out a tweet saying the game is sold out, and all you get is people laughing at it, again doubting it, and fueling more negativity, which will no doubt have an effect on people's mentality. I've seen people asking, is anyone actually excited to go to the AMEX? Really, it's the mentality that is ruining the atmosphere at the AMEX, along with a few other factors, as we've discussed. But I think it's about time people take a step back and realise how bloody lucky they are to be in a position to be able to go to a football match, because I'm sure there's plenty of people that would do anything to be in their position. And it's too true, Joe. It's too true. You know, I do feel like I'm, as I've tried to say, I'm a bit, I don't know what the word is, but I feel bad that I don't enjoy my time there as much as I should. You know, I said to my granddad, you know, this could be our last few games at the AMEX because unfortunately we are having to cancel our season ticket this year. I have told you before in the chat. I'm not sure if anyone knew on here or not. But you know, let's try and enjoy it, no matter what the results are. Let's just go sing, try and enjoy it, spend. You know, we're still going to go to Lancing and Worthing games, the non-leagues, while they're at home because my granddad can't really travel too far and whatnot. So we are still going to try and do that, and we'll obviously still watch Brighton on TV, still be big fans. But you know, I really want to try and enjoy that because it could be my last time. You know, maybe for another 10 years or something when I'll maybe consider coming back. Who knows what will happen in 10 years? But yeah, I think it is tough to see that on social media, and maybe social media is what has influenced my decision this year to cancel. You never know; it might have, because I might have been able to, you know, find money from elsewhere or whatever, and try and get it back if it was the case that I still believed and still found enjoyment at the game. But I just think, as I say, it's been so hostile this year that I can't find that enjoyment. And I totally agree, Joe, and I do hope that that does change around soon. And that people start enjoying their time again. I mean, I know, Kurtis, for you this season, it's been your first 2 games. I doubt that you had that inkling in your head that you weren't going to enjoy it. How are you feeling before you went to the game?
Well, I think I'm in the minority, right? Regardless of results, every time I see us play, if that's on the TV or the past couple of times I've been at the stadium, I'm always so excited for it, right? Regardless, right? You know, like yesterday, I was just excited. I was just so excited. And something me and Joe were talking about yesterday, to reference something you were just talking about, is we see these 30-second clips of them, and then we see them for 90 minutes on a pitch, right? That's all we see of them, right? And we're judging how they feel on that, you know. And we see oh, you know, Basuma didn't clap the fans or whatever. But also, what you wouldn't have seen yesterday is he was posing for pictures with a load of kids at the training and stuff like that. And at the end, you saw Tarek give his shirt to a young kid, and you saw Mark Cucurella do that too. You won't see the positives. This is the big issue I have with social media. They like to push the negatives so much that the positives just get pushed to the very back of the line, and it's very, very sad to see. So I think we, as sort of a footballing community, need to make much more of an effort to push the positives.
I think that's one thing that, you know, on the back of Joe's message there, Joe does really, really well, I think. It's a shame to see, and I hope that, you know, if someone's listening to this that has given Joe backlash on Twitter, particularly on the Albion Obsessed account, but also on his personal account, if you're giving someone backlash for pushing the positives or pushing questions, you know, you've got to sort of grow up and realize that debate is a great thing. First of all, don't you know, if someone makes an opinion on Twitter, don't just go for their neck. You know, spark a debate. Let's have a conversation. That's how the most intelligent minds get through to each other. Do you know what I mean? They have a conversation, they have a debate. But you know, don't make it personal about anything as well. And please just acknowledge that positive things do happen as well. It's so. I know we were very pessimistic today because of the result yesterday, but we have to talk about the game. We have to talk about our feelings towards the game. But our feelings in general is that we generally love football. We generally love Brighton. Do you know what I mean? It's not something that we just change. So yeah, let's spark some positivity. If you see something positive, if you're out and about and you see a player and they give you a handshake or give you a hug or take a picture with you or sign something for you, spread it and spread the joy that they brought to you, you know, because if they're not bringing us joy on the pitch, show what they are doing to bring us joy. Show that they are smiling, show that they are having a good time, that they do care about the club. Because, you know, as I say, maybe I'm disillusioned with it and I'm not seeing it at the moment, but yeah, I think you're absolutely right there, Kurtis. Looking forward to Arsenal then as well. I'm sure we'll have another pod after it discussing the game. But let's start this dialogue now. I'm really excited for that game. I am really excited. I think Arsenal is a great place to go. We've got some fond memories there. Chloe, are you going to that one?
Yeah, I am. Dreading trying to get up there on the train, but hopefully that will go smoothly. And I'm quite excited to go to another away game. I always feel more excited for away games. I think I've been quite lucky in that our away. I think people who do only go at home don't necessarily see the best of us. We've been a lot better away from home this season, particularly. So yeah, I always feel like, you know what, maybe we can get a result, and even if we don't, you know, I've had some good days out, even when we've drawn, or even a couple of games where we've lost, it's still been like a decent day out. And I think maybe that is part of the reason why the atmosphere is a bit better in away games, because there's less pressure. Again, talking about pressure, you don't feel like, oh, we must win. Even that's, well, you probably expect to get something against, say, Norwich, but you don't feel at home against a poor cup club. It's like, we have to win this. But I think there's not that same pressure at away games, so you can just relax. You know, I think a few people like to have a few drinks and just enjoy the game. I think, I don't want to sound like I don't care about the results, because obviously I do, but I think sometimes you just need to just enjoy it for what it is and have a bit of fun. I sound so like airy and here, but I just like going to games and just enjoying it, even if we don't get the results. I think you can do that. You don't have to. I don't know. I'm rambling now.
I listen. I agree with what Chloe was saying. I feel like sometimes we forget that it's just a game where you kick a ball about. And listen, I know I don't want to disparage anything. I love the club to pieces, and I want us to achieve everything, and I want us to win all the cups and all the games and everything. Don't get me wrong, right? But I feel like sometimes some people become so violently in tune with this football culture that they forget that some people are there just to enjoy the experience of being there, and they just, you know. It baffles me sometimes. Baffles me. Like yesterday when me and Joe were sat there. You should have heard some of the stuff that was being shouted at the players. It was ridiculous.
All right. Well, here's what I'm going to do. Try and instill a bit of positivity into our community, even if we only capture the very small piece of the pie that is Brighton fans. Joe, if you can clip this part, maybe this would be good for Twitter. This part. Let's set a challenge. Let's set a challenge. I'm not sure if you guys will agree with me or not. If you see someone say something on Twitter that you disagree with in terms of an opinion, obviously not anything that's like racist or homophobic or anything that's prejudice in any way. I'm talking about general just football opinions. Instead of going at their throat or taking the mick out of them, try this. Just say, and at us when you do this as well. That would be good to have our at in there. At Albion Obsessed. If you go in and you say, I respect your opinion on the matter, but here's why I disagree, and give your just the 2 sentence thing of why you disagree, and then just hashtag positivity or something, just hashtag positive talks or positive discussion. Let's try and see if we can get, if this is the only thing that you hear today on Twitter, let's try and get positive discussions going. Even if it is talking about the things that need to be talked about why we are not playing well at the moment, just give your positive discussion on it. Maybe there's something going on behind the scenes or something, but just make sure you're not going at each other's throats. Let's try and build a more positive community around the Albion, because it is very toxic out there on Twitter at the moment, and I'm seeing a lot of people either deactivate or go private. That shouldn't be how it is. Let's start some positive discussions, people. But that's my challenge to you, and make sure you're at Albion Obsessed. We want to see it. We want to see people taking the first steps. I respect your opinion. Here is my opinion on it. And then just go from there. If we all start doing that, if we all start doing things like that, maybe we'll have some proper discussions. And yeah, maybe it won't be so toxic out there. I'm not sure, Kurtis. I'm not sure if there's anything that I've missed out from what that could be as a challenge in terms of positivity.
Well, I was going to say also something you could do is below in the comments, post to us a positive thing that you've seen or done at a football game. And that doesn't necessarily have to be 3 points, a win or whatever. Just, some wholesome stuff you've seen or whatever. Spread it in the comments below. That'd be quite nice to see.
Yeah, Joe, if we can, like I say, if we can get this as a little 2-minute clip, get it on the Twitter below this tweet, just spread some positivity. What have you seen at a football game that is positive? And let's hopefully it's about Brighton, but if there's fans from other clubs that watch us, get involved. Littlehampton just yesterday, congratulations to them. They've made it to Wembley, the FA Vars final. So really, really happy for them. That's my positive thing from yesterday. I was really happy to see a local non-league side, even though it's not my side. Really happy to see them get there. But I think on that note of positivity, I think I am going to sort of wrap it up there, because we went off on so many tangents today. I feel like I've messed up with so many different things that I've spoken about. We've gone round and round in circles. But I really hope that this episode has just shown, how dejected football can get you and how to get back on side with that positivity, because I feel like we got back on track
Absolutely.
once we started talking about the positive stuff. So yeah, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much to Aaron, Kurtis, and Chloe for joining today. I'm sorry that Aaron had to go halfway through. I do hope he is feeling better soon. I think a mixture of his Wi-Fi playing up and the COVID has not hit him well.
Yes,
well
and
wishes
get well soon, Tom, as well, obviously. So
yes, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Well wishes to Tom, who's also struggling. I don't think it's COVID, luckily, but he's also struggling with it, maybe about a cold or something. So yeah, we really hope to see some more comments below, and thank you very much for listening, and yeah, we'll see you next time.